It's now time for the Writer Talk Hour. So I want to introduce you to three very amazing people who are awesome writers. We have producer Sean from the Don't Make It Weird podcast. We have Dinosaurus from the Don't Make It Weird podcast. And we have Jess the Mess, who is honorary Don't Make It Weird podcast. She is awesome. They're all awesome. Let's go into the chat thing and introduce them now. It kind of worked. It worked. Can everyone... Oh my God, they should be
Are we here?
Are we here?
Can it
How's
be
the sound?
me?
I mean, I can hear.
Chat, can you hear us?
Can you guys? Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Can you see me?
That little wave, that was adorable.
Are you all able to hear? Can you hear? Yes. Well, I'm getting a nod.
Yeah.
I'm getting a nod. Everyone can hear. Cowbell, hello, welcome. We can see all of you and hear all
Hello,
of you.
Cowbell17.
Hello, Viking. How you doing? Welcome in, everybody. So this is the Writer Talk Hour. I'm just as nervous as everyone else, and I can't talk when I'm nervous. So
I don't think
that's
you
how
are.
you can tell.
No, you're definitely not.
You're not as nervous at all. No.
Look at all these cuties. You're the cutie, Franny. You're the cutie. I'm good, thanks, bud. Good. Okay, so I'm going to get everyone to introduce themselves one by one. So if we start to below me, Jess. Hello. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jess the Mess. I'm very sweaty right now. I put on perfume for this for some reason.
Naturally.
We can smell it.
That's
It's
it.
fine.
That's
It
all I
smells great.
got.
Smells
I
great.
know. It smells good. Yeah.
What stuff do you write, Jess? What kind of genres?
I write speculative fiction for the most part, so fantasy, sci-fi, mostly fantasy, and poetry.
Awesome. Yeah, your haikus are
I like
amazing.
haikus.
Love them.
Oh,
Love them on Twitter. Okay, and down to bottom left. That's that way. In my cam's mirrored, so there we go. Producer Sean, how are you?
Yeah, doing great, Tom. Thanks for having us on.
No problem. No problem. Producer of the
An
Don't Make It
important
Weird
distinction.
podcast.
I am producer of the Don't Make It Weird podcast. Yes, I'm not a writer, though. I'm just the guy who, plugs in all the wires and makes sure everything's working so Daniel and Dina can talk about writing.
He supports
Still
us.
very knowledgeable on the
We're
subject.
nothing without him.
Knowledgeable reader, and that counts for everything. We'd be nothing without you guys. And then to my right, is it my right or left on your screen? It's my right on mine, but to my side,
It's
it's
left on mine.
Dinosaurus. Dina, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Introduce yourself. Let us know a bit about you and
Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to introduce myself. So I write young adult fantasy, and I've been published in children's, but I don't like writing children's stories. So
it's amazing. And we've just had a raid from Ruizu. Rui, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the
Hey.
raid.
I'm gonna throw up.
I know.
Congratulations on 1 year. Oh, thank you so much, Rui. I appreciate it. Welcome. You've joined just at the start of our writer hour. So welcome in everybody. Who have we got here? We've got Flongdang, welcome. Suda Muda, Minobi TV, Crumbling Cloud, Bessie Bear, Angry Viking, that's you. Hello, Viking. Berto, hello. Vanta, hello. How are you? How is everyone? And Tom, hello. Welcome. Gingervite, hello. SSJ Onyx, hello. Sorry if I'm butchering your names. Hello, everyone. So we are on the Writer Hour, ! Guest, as Crumbling Cloud has done. Thank you very much. These are the links for all of our guests today. So if you like what we have to say, please do. Please go check everyone out. They are awesome. How was your stream, Ruzu? And the one thing we have to ask people on this stream is, do you like olives? Yes or no? Writers, how do we feel about olives?
Important.
We like olives.
I love olives.
There we
Love
go.
olives, especially on a hot dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But also, wait, real quick. Frodo Swaggins, are you my fake boyfriend?
Do you know a fake boyfriend?
Like, I need to know. That's very important.
Good question.
So
Olives do
Richard,
not suck ass.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Jeff.
Oh yeah, no.
I
This
don't
is
think the mods
Oh
will
wait, is
favor us
that
anymore.
Anya?
no.
Is it
Yeah,
Anya or-
yeah, that's Anya. These are
She's
the...
not. She's not Team Olive.
No. My mods aren't. My mods aren't Team Olive. It's me
Yeah,
versus
it's
the
Tom
mods.
versus the mods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is heartbreaking.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's rough. The other thing we asked was also Ruizu's community. What is your favorite thing about Rui's stream? Your favorite thing? That's what we like to know here. Olives are amazing. Olives are an S tier food. Olive equals evilo. Rain hates olives. We know that. We see you.
Hi,
Rain.
Rain.
We see you.
Hi, Rain. We love you.
We love you, Rain.
Very
We love
much.
you.
Love you a lot.
Okay, back to writer talk as well. So the first question I want to ask, and Sean, as you're not a writer, this will go more to Jess and Dina. What
Go for
got
it.
you guys into writing? What was the thing that made you decide to become writers?
You want to go first?
Yeah, go for it, Dina.
Oh no, I said Jess. You want to go first?
Oh,
Okay,
really?
I can go first.
Sorry.
I don't care.
I misheard.
The pandemic had me go back into writing because I had time and I started reading again. Makes it sound like I didn't read for years, which I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't really write for a long time, like basically since high school. And then the pandemic happened. I got into reading again, and I thought, oh, I actually really enjoyed writing. And I was kind of inspired by things I was reading, and I kind of wanted to write something that I wanted to read. So yeah, I just kind of got started writing again in January. So very, very new, and I don't know what's going on ever.
But you've already got a short story out in an anthology, right?
I do, yeah, I got very lucky.
It's
And
very
it's really
very
good.
It is good.
That's very good.
Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's called so it's in the anthology called Not Meant for Each Other. It's
Lost Boys
my
Press?
stories by Lost Boys Press, yes. And my story is called Nameless. And it's about the world is about a world where you need to be named right when you're born. And there's a lot of kind of a magic system built around your name and your identity. And when they name you, you're also assigned like a soulmate. So this is the story of two people who are nameless. So they were never named, and therefore they were never like told who their soulmates are. And this is kind of their experience.
It is very good. Onyx, I see your question. We will come back to that in 2 seconds. Dina, what got you into writing?
I actually started writing back in high school, and surprisingly, for those that know me, this is super shocking, but the first thing that I ever wrote was horror.
That's surprising.
It was a short story that I wrote for high school English class, and I almost said professor, my teacher liked it a lot, and she told me that I should like keep writing different stories that come to mind or whatever. So then I wrote a whole book, and I did self-publishing on Kindle before I freaking understood anything about writing and like the publishing world or anything like that. So I took it down because I read it a couple years ago and it fucking sucked. So you can't buy it anymore, thank God. I mean, I've been writing ever since.
Nice.
I'm gonna find a used copy.
Yeah, we're gonna find it somewhere.
I'm pretty sure
we're gonna find
that
it.
the only people that bought it were like my family. So
Wait, does anyone have their details? Let's go hunting.
Somebody find my mom.
I've been working on that.
And Sean, I know you said you weren't a writer, but what got you into like reading and into the literary world?
So, truth is, I never was a huge reader. It was never a big hobby of mine. I enjoyed it, but never got super into it. But producing this show has really gotten me back into reading. So, I've literally got a pile of like 20 books that I've bought in the last 3 months, including every book from every guest that has come on the show, and I've read a good amount of it so far. I'm behind, but I am really into reading again. So it's been a cool experience.
Problem with TBRs though, isn't it? They keep getting longer. And the days don't get longer to match them. It's like, what else can I do? There's only so much time. So we have a question from SSJ Onyx. If this was comic anyway, was there a specific piece of literature that got you all into writing? So who wants to go first on that?
I will. I was Frank Elbaum's Wizard of Oz series, not just like book one, but like I found out that there was a whole series. He's got 14 books, 13 he wrote, and then his children took over after him and wrote the 14th. And I just I always read as a kid everything, but like when I found that series and I realized how transportative his words were, I was like, oh my god, I want to do this to somebody. Like this is incredible. Like I can literally see in his mind and his imagination how vivid everything was, and I wanted to like expand on that.
That's awesome. It's really cool.
I don't think I have a good answer for this one. There wasn't anything like specific. I kind of just like went on at a couple months off from work and I just kind of binge read everything. It was just kind of, I think I would just like say it was really getting back into the fantasy genre in general was very transformative for me, I think, because it was a very great escapism when I kind of needed it. I was kind of like bored and it was like a pandemic. I didn't really have a lot to do, so I think it was the sense of escapism that was very important for me. Yeah, not particularly like a specific author.
Gotcha. Nice. I think I'm kind of similar to you and also to Sean in that I never used to be a big reader at all. I only recently started reading a lot. Most of my inspiration comes from video game writing. I used to get really involved, and I still do get really involved in the stories because they capture stories in a way that books and movies can't, in that you take control of the story. And there's something special about that sort of writing, even with linear games where you only kind of have to go to one place from one place to the next. The fact that you still have to control the story makes it like really immersive. So I was always into all of that sort of stuff, but again, like you, Jess, it was nothing specific that got me into writing. I just had a dream one day, and also my English teacher was like, "Your descriptive writing's very good. You should pursue something." So I was like, "Okay." So I had a fantasy dream, and then and then went from there.
Good English teachers are everything.
Oh yes,
They
absolutely.
really are. Oh god,
Game
I love them
changer.
all.
Yeah, especially when
There
they're
was
really
a
encouraging.
question. Oh wait, I don't know how to scroll. Wait, let me scroll back up. There's a question that I liked. There's something about.
Title
Oh
of
wait,
your
if you
memoir?
have to.
From
Yeah,
Josh.
if you have to title your.
Barely
your
Joshua.
memoir or whatever. But can somebody read the question if you can find it?
Yeah, I
'cause
can read
I'm
it.
Incompetent.
Barely Joshua asked, if you were to title your memoir right now, what would you call it?
I would call it the Don't Make It Weird podcast.
Nice.
I would call it I don't know what's going on.
That's a good one.
That's
know,
awesome.
Something like Ramblings of a Mad Mind. Something like that.
That's really good.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a really
That
good
is
one.
good.
That's how I feel in life sometimes. I'm just like, am I just talking for the sake of talking? Like nothing coherent is coming out. It's just
Sorry,
words. Yeah,
Yeah.
Word vomit is my lifestyle.
I word vomit, yeah.
exactly. Frelling says, I don't have a question, but I just want to say this is such a cool idea and so interesting to listen to. Thank you, Frelling.
Oh.
Appreciate that. You're very sweet. By the way, chat, yeah, if anyone has any questions for us in terms of writing or reading or books or anything like that, feel free to ask. You can direct a question at anyone in specific, in particular, or all of us. I'm such a scuff with this sort of stuff. Zero asks, what do you think is the biggest cause for any creative block you might have? And what's the best way you've found to get yourself out?
It's Amber. Hi, Amber.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Amber. We love you.
Thank you for the
We
follow.
love you.
Love you. I spend most of my existence in a writer's block or a creative block, I guess. I had somebody say that anxiety was the reason for writer's block, but I don't know if I agree with that. I do work best like to get out of my writer's blocks like cleaning. If I have a clean environment, then I can just sit and focus, and it's all good. Or I listen to really sad songs. That helps a lot.
Yes, inspirational music.
Yeah.
Hey, Dewey's here too.
Zoe,
Dewey.
hello.
Hey.
How are you, my friend? Welcome, welcome.
I like the next question, or not question. Well, yeah, it's a question.
Jess, do you have...
Writing because I use.
Writer's block, yeah. So
Sorry.
I think the first thing I do when I have writer's block is I cry. And then I scream and then I
Relatable.
bitch about it. And none of those help. I think reading usually is the biggest help for getting over writer's block. Just like for inspiration or just like to get my mind off of trying to write is really helpful. I think I like put a lot of pressure on wanting to write and that makes it worse and just kind of like a positive feedback loop. So anything that isn't doing anything that like is super not writing is often a really good way for me to start writing again.
See, for me, I get writer's block because I procrastinate. I just things are more interesting all the time. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. So I have to block some time out. I have to force myself out to be like, right, from this time to this time, I am doing some writing. And then I have to do what I call word vomit, where I literally just write down stuff. I don't worry about descriptions. I don't worry about like names or anything like that. I just literally write what is happening now in this scene so I can edit it later. I can add the descriptive terms later. I just write factually kind of to get past it. And then I always find editing easier. So that would be it for me. Sean, do you
Ew,
get any?
you like editing?
I find it easier than writing.
I like editing
Oh,
actually
gross.
as well.
I don't
Yeah, I
mind
like
editing.
Oh,
editing.
yeah, gross.
Sean, do you get any kind of
No.
blocks with your creative outputs?
Yeah, I just take a break. Like, that's how I know I'm burnt out. If I'm trying to make something for the show or something,
Mhm.
and it's just not coming together, that's when I know I need to take a break and maybe try again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's definitely advisable. Like, don't burn yourself out. Really good advice. Farrell says, I got into writing because I used to name my toys and give them personalities, and I would play with my toys and put them in
Oh.
different scenarios. When I got older, I got into writing and drawing, and the rest is history. That's really sweet. It's amazing.
Dude, I
like
had
that.
so many different like life stories for like my Barbies and my horses and my dinosaurs and shit. So fun. Okay,
So cute.
sorry.
That's something
I
I,
love
never
that.
did. That is cute. I never did that.
They all had different lives and stories.
Backstories.
And whatever.
I just thought mine came to life when I wasn't in my room, like in Toy Story.
The Toy
Maybe they
Story.
did.
I still believe that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one
Right.
can prove it. No one can prove it.
right?
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah. Mushroom says his memoir will be Life on or of Mushrooms. Life. That's quite clever, that title. If that is that exact title with the O bracket NF, so it's like on or of. That'd be good. I like that.
On off mushrooms.
There's a
Oh.
question from Nico the Belgian.
Nico.
Yeah, wanted
I used to
address
write
that.
a lot for therapeutic reasons. Wait, did we already do this one?
No, I wanted to
Oh,
address
no.
it.
I used to write a lot for therapeutic reasons, but I always felt really bad about what I wrote and deleted it. Did any of you get that phase? Probably.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Definitely. I mean, I wrote 10 chapters of Nasus when it wasn't Nasus, when I was about 16, 17, and it's all since deleted. And I wish I hadn't deleted it because I would like to look back and laugh at it because it was horrendous. It was totally different. It was totally different. I had to take the aspects I liked and rebuild everything from the ground up much later on when I got more experience. So, yeah.
I read a lot of things I feel bad about. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're okay. Go ahead.
I read a lot of things I feel bad about. I don't delete them, and they just kind of like sit in like a hard drive graveyard. So they just kind of like sit there and they rot. But I feel like you shouldn't delete them. Have like a folder and name it something like trash, so you think you've deleted it, and then
That's a good idea.
Change
it's
the
mind
icon.
games.
Mind
Yeah.
game yourself.
And then so you tell yourself you deleted it, but it's still there because there's always things you can take out and like fix or like build on that you don't realize later on that was like, oh, that was actually kind of a good idea. Or you might inspire you for something else, or you can just like cut and paste bits and pieces out of. Or sometimes it's just trash and it's sitting in the trash folder and that's fine. But I've never deleted things. I just like told myself they don't exist anymore.
That's probably the smart way to do it. Mine are gone, and I'm like, wish I could read back and laugh.
Yeah.
Because there might be
Yeah,
a
for sure.
line or two that's like hidden gems in there. I might have written
Yeah.
a line that I'd be like, actually, that's really, really good.
One entire line, but like that makes all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, I deleted a whole book off of Kindle because I thought that it was complete shit. I still have the original file, but that whole shitty book inspired what I'm currently querying. I've definitely felt the urge to delete stuff, but I never have because I know one day I'm gonna look back and I want to make fun of myself. I love making fun of myself, so don't delete your work. Like, and I'm sure it's also not as bad as you think it is. We're really negative on ourselves for no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I think
Yeah.
that's very indicative of creative arts in general. Like you are your biggest critic always, because you can see flaws that other people can't. For example, in a different outlet, we have a friend who's a very successful professional photographer, and she'll do these huge canvas prints that are like meters long and meters high, and she'll do it and she'll go, don't like it, there's a blemish, and you're like, where's the blemish? Right there, that tiny spot of focus that isn't right. And I'm like,
only they'll see it.
Yeah, and it's the same with us, and it's the same with like most creative. If someone is 100% confident and cocksure of their own work, then you know that they're probably doing something wrong. That's the way I feel about it. If you're 100% confident in what you do, and you're like, this is the best thing ever, then you know, I would personally have doubts. You know, yeah, but you know. So
Yeah,
Amber,
those people are unicorns.
yes, yeah, exactly. Or on cocaine, one of the two. But Amber asks, do you guys prefer to outline your whip, or do you have another set or tool you use?
Oh, honey, I am a complete and total pantser. I do not outline shit. Can't do it. Nope.
I'm a plantser, so I do both. I have like a general outline where like I think I want it to go. Like I have goals for each arc, so I'll be like, this character arc is gonna look like this, the plot arc's gonna look like this. Like I know where it's gonna end, and I know what things I want to happen, but I don't know what the scenes are gonna look like. I don't entirely know how I'm gonna get there. Usually. So somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Excellent. Kel, thank you so much for the sub, my friend. Thank you. That has earned you one entry into the draw later on tonight for a signed hardback copy of the second book, which I have.
Hi, Kelly. Love you.
Thank you so much.
She's so cute. I love her. Hi, Kelly. I love you too.
Mushrooms writes songs. Just write in my mind, and if the idea dies, it dies. Just drop it due to it's really hard to come back to it. But then again, it's different. I wouldn't say songwriting is that much different to what we do. It's a creative outlet. You know, so it's
like the same. Yeah.
It's very transportative. You can put me. I actually think songwriting is like way harder because you're transporting me to a whole other world in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you also need rhythm. And you need like rhythm and melody.
There's more to it.
You have to focus on sound and flow, whereas I can just go like, bleh. You're actually
just like that,
like something. Yeah, like. Bleh.
Yeah, I can't songwrite. I've tried to write a song before. Sean, you're quite musical, aren't you?
Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself a musician, but I sing and I play guitar.
Have you ever written?
Very well. He's gonna undersell himself. He's such a good singer and musician.
That makes you a musician.
Daddy Podcast is very talented.
Have you written your own music?
A little bit. I used to write my own music when I was younger. I haven't tried to write any music in a very, very long time. And a friend of mine and I used to write together, and we kind of leaned on each other because he was much more creative with taking the songs different places, really into like progressive rock and stuff like that. So experimental stuff for the most part. And I'd usually come up with a riff, and then he would take that and turn it into a whole thing. So like it was very much a group effort. I've never been like a solo songwriter.
Is it something that you would want to get back into at some point?
Yeah, it's always one of those things where I'm like, eventually I'll get back together with him and write some more. But, life happens.
Yeah.
Things get in the way, and then you find excuses to not do it when you have time.
Yeah, life does suck sometimes. Yeah. Like there was always, this thought makes me kind of sad, so I'll move on from it very quickly, but it's like there's always like the last time you do something that you don't know is the last time you know, and it's just like,
Yeah.
But anyway, so question from Frelling.
It's
So
so
here's
sad.
Wait, hold up,
Oh,
real
sorry.
quick. I
Please
just
go
wanted to say, if Chibi Witches is who I think it is, hi, I love you. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Jivy. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I didn't see that. Sorry, my alerts are off at the minute, so they don't like interrupt our flow of conversation. So I'm having to like catch up. I'm really far behind in the chat because I'm pausing at questions that I like. So sorry, guys. Well,
Oh wait,
I'm
Rain
getting
had
through
an
everything,
idea. Rain had an idea for Dina's memoir. It looks like Confessions
Oh,
of a Main
no, Rain.
Character.
so. That's a good one.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
that is so accurate.
Yeah. Dina, your
Right,
life
that's
story is
fine.
incredible. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to put you on the spot later and ask you to tell one of your stories. You can tell one
Yes. Story time with Dina.
because they're
Okay,
great.
we can do that.
They're great. It's good.
Okay.
I've given you this much prep. It's fine.
Okay, I'm looking through my list. Hold on.
Okay. But no, it'll be at the end. It's fine. So question from
Yes.
Frelling. Here's a question relating to what you just said about feeling bad about your own writing. Do any of you ever struggle with imposter syndrome? And if so, how do you get yourself out of that mindset?
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be worried if you
Um,
didn't.
Do you want to
I'm
go
so
first,
bad.
Jess, or do you want me to go?
Sure, yeah. I'm really bad with imposter syndrome. Thomas knows this. He read my story, and the first thing I was like, okay, well, before you read it, it's really, really bad and it sucks. And after you read it, I'm like, okay, well, this is why it sucked. And then Thomas is like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
So
A
good.
lot.
So good.
I actually have on my phone I call it writing dopamine. And every time someone tells me something positive about my writing, I take a screenshot of it and I save it in writing dopamine folder. And I read that whenever I'm sad.
Oh, that's
That's a
so
great
sweet.
idea.
And it
That's
helps.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Oh, I need
And
to
it's
do
really
that.
helpful because then, especially when someone says something very specific about my writing, when they're like, okay, well, you did dialogue really well. And I'm like, I did dialogue well? And then I'll screenshot it and I'll save it. So I have like a little folder on my phone called writing dopamine, and I dope myself whenever I need to.
That's amazing. I think I
Shannon's
need to do
here.
the
Hi,
same.
Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Shannon!
Hello, hello. Dina, how do you get past imposter syndrome? Sorry.
I don't really have an actual method for it. I even like holding my book after it got published for the first time. I think I messaged Sean and Daniel about it, and I was just like, I hate this. Like this is I don't. It was just such intense imposter syndrome, and I have totally disregarded the book completely because of it. Because I just wind up ignoring it, and because I don't feel like. I feel like it's not worth it. So I haven't really figured out how to get past that other than I just ignore and I have to keep going. Otherwise, it just drowns me, and if I won't like recover from that.
It's the worst. Imposter syndrome is awful, and
Yeah.
no amount of what anyone can tell you is, it's just, I don't know, it's so hard to deal with. And I think it comes from comparing. Like, you see people who are, really successful in what they do, and even people in your own circles that are doing really well, and you're like, oh, well, they're obviously doing well because they're good at what they do, and I'm obviously not doing well because I'm not as good as them. And that's such a toxic mindset to have, but we can't help it. Like, it's just part of how it works. And as you say, Dean, even when you achieve something, you still have that imposter syndrome going, nah. Like,
Yep.
my first novel won finalist in International Book Awards, and every time someone says something like relating to that, I always end up down. I'm always like, nah, it's not that. Is it like, it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like a Nobel Prize, is it? Like, it's you
Yeah.
kind of have
Yeah.
to do like, and it's like it's so hard to accept that
Yeah.
maybe we have done
Yeah.
something good. You're like,
Yeah, and
Dude,
I blame
even feel
everything
that.
on luck.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say, I feel that like every episode of the show, and like I'm sure Sean does too. Like, people don't really care; they're just like giving us pity views or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard.
Not true.
Even though people pump us up, it's like, no, I'm not really that good at stories. Like, it's very toxic.
Yeah,
I
this is
feel like an
why
imposter sitting here in this chat right now.
you're absolutely not.
You're holding me together, Sean. If
This-
you
I
let,
I
I would
couldn't
like
be here without
crumble.
you, Sean. We were freaking out before.
This is why I think Jess, your dope folder is a great idea. It's
Your
absolutely
dope
Yeah,
wonderful.
folder.
it's
I love
Dope
it.
folder.
my dope folder.
Yeah.
I've been doping.
I'm definitely gonna have to do something like that as well.
Highly
So
recommend.
Zero says, jumping onto the critiques, where are you most critical of your work, and what about it are you most proud of? A very good question.
I'm very critical of my prose. I feel like I have a lot to grow there. I don't have a very good vocabulary. I know like 12 words. So when I'm writing, I'm like, this is not great. I can't think of any words other than like look and walked. So I find I have a hard time with that, and I compare myself a lot with people who just have more practice than me and have much more advanced prose. I do enjoy putting little hints in writing, so I think I do an okay job at that. So like if I'm world building, I try to not info dump. I try to just like sneak it in a way that feels natural. I think I do an okay job at that. I think. Yeah, that's
Definitely,
probably it.
definitely do.
Thank you.
I don't want to copy you, but like I'm the same way. I'm not very good at using like so Daniel, my co-host, for people that don't know, I don't know who's on here. He is so his vocabulary is so diverse in his writing, and it's beautiful to read. And then like I'm reading mine or writing mine or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, I use such like 6th grade words. Like this is so pathetic. Yeah, I'm not good at it, but I am really good at Easter eggs. I pull a total Taylor Swift in there, and like I'm giving you all these Easter eggs all the time.
That's good. For me, I think I struggle the most with pulling together a fantasy world because there's so many different threads, and
Yeah.
you have to keep them all together. And I've got like a million documents because I can't keep everything
Oh
in
my
one
God, me
document. And yeah, it's ridiculous. And you think of something that you include early on, then you forget about it later, and you're like, oh no, I need to pull that back in. I need to, like, that can't be a loose thread. I need to see what this does. So I struggle a lot with that, especially with the big worlds. The book 4 that I'm planning now, I'm holding back on writing because I'm actually afraid of it. I'm really scared to write it. So
Story of my life.
I need to get past that. But I think I'm most proud of twists. I think I can do twists really well.
Oh yeah, I love twists.
They're not like twists out of nowhere. They're twists that have had stuff dropped throughout, and I try to be, and I want to be the type of writer where you'll read the book twice, and then the second time you read it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's so obvious now. Now that I know what happens, that bit's really obvious. And I
love
think
that.
I can do that quite well because I mostly do it by accident. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be totally honest with all of you. Is that I do a lot of that by accident because I've gone around to editing and I'm like, oh, that makes sense with what I wrote later. That's brilliant. I'll keep that in. And I'm like that. But yeah, that's probably what I'm most proud of. And Sean, for you, what are you most proud of in your entire creative output? Music or producing?
I've never been more happy with a product that I've put out there or shown to anyone than I am about Don't Make It Weird. And it's really reinvigorated my creativity. Like for many years, I didn't pursue anything creative really. I just was doing my day job and living my life. And then Daniel asked me to help with this thing, and it's been super exciting, and I'm really proud of it. So that would be my answer.
It is such a good podcast. It's so much fun. It's so well produced. I'm gonna do a little thing in chat. So guys, I'm gonna do the guests. So there's links to all of our guest things, and at the bottom there's a link to the Don't Make It Weird podcast link tree. Definitely go check it out because it's super fun. I've been a guest on there, and it was just as fun to sort of be involved with as it is to watch. And every episode has me in stitches. It's so good. Definitely go for it. You can listen to it or watch it on
Okay.
YouTube. It's entirely up to you, but it's good.
We recommend watching on YouTube if you
yes.
can.
I was listening to an
It's
episode.
very funny. Yeah.
It was the Wineclaw episode that I was listening to, and I had to stop it on Spotify and get it up on YouTube because I was like, wait, I need to see this. I need to see this.
what's happening, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it was so good. So as the old
I'm
saying
just
goes,
a ridiculous person, so.
it's all good fun. It's brilliant, and I love that you're sharing it with the world, and it's that's fantastic. And not a lot of people actually put themselves out there, so that's really good. So as the old
It's scary.
saying goes, it is scary, absolutely. Comparison is the thief of joy, absolutely. Comparing just ruins everything it does.
Beautiful.
Farrell's, I'm planning to be an animator and a musician because you know what's better than animating your own world, making your own music too. If my world ever became a TV series or movie, then I might work more on my music because I have a lot of saved melodies on my PC. Produce my own OST would be epic, but for now, looking at my equipment, the best I can possibly do is probably make a webcomic, which isn't that bad. I mean, you start small, don't you? You start small and you work your way up as things go. So honestly, just keep pushing at that creative boat, my friend. Keep at it, and
You've also never needed less equipment than you do today to do something like that.
Absolutely.
You
Things
can
be done on
do
a
it
budget
with
now.
your phone. Yeah.
I mean, listen to the audio quality of like all of our microphones here. Imagine even 10 years ago,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to have a mic with this good quality, in our homes, unless we were mega rich. So, and a question from Farrell that says, what was the most unique and original thing you ever wrote, and something that will make someone say, oh, that's something only he or she would write? Oh, that's a very good question.
Very good question. Someone want to go first? I don't want to go first.
The most.
My current whip, which I now know the definition of. My current whip is. It's not really like a biography or autobiography, whatever the fuck it is when you write it yourself. It's definitely inspired by and taken from real life events, like that time that the girl I had Baker acted told the police that I had superpowers. So I don't think anybody else could write anything like that at all.
That's good.
I don't think anything I write is so unique that like only I could write it. I don't think so. Like I think there's nothing that's like super drawn on life experiences per se, like more like feelings and vibes. Are drawn from my life, but nothing like nothing like that. I don't think anything I write is like that unique, I guess. I don't know.
I totally get you. I mean, the only, I don't know, the only things I've written is the World of Nasus and some horror shorts, but I don't think any of them are particularly unique. I mean, I guess Nasus is because it's my world. It's something that I've created, but there's obviously inspirations from everything in there. I mean, there's the argument, is anything original anymore, right? That's like a big, you just reinvent something that's been done and just put your mark on it, essentially.
And it doesn't need to be original either.
No,
I don't
absolutely not. I do have a lot of fun writing the horror shorts though, because I like the twists that I put in the horror shorts that Dina's experienced firsthand from my reading of one.
I mean, very good,
but I'm quite proud of that. But I don't think, again, same as you, Jess, I don't think I've got anything that people would say that's classically Tom. Like I don't think I have anything like that yet. There's time. Don't Make It Weird does so much for the writing community. I love them all. Absolutely true. 100% true.
Love you, Rain. You're the best.
Don't Make It Weird owns my dark, broken soul. Yeah.
Amber.
I hold it proudly.
I was listening to the podcast and I got baited by someone saying that Tom took his shirt off and I had to switch to YouTube.
Hey, we got him. Fell for our trap.
Got him.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. Sean, the same question, the unique mark. Do you have anything like that with your music?
Not really. I mean, aside from me trying really hard to be progressive, But I don't think that's really a signature thing. I think this also comes back to like, how we're all our own worst critic, and there isn't one single thing that I would point out and be like, oh, only I could have done that. Or, people will know it was me because they heard that tidbit. Like, I don't know. I think,
So
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so basically, I'm the only one that said that I have something unique, so I'm the narcissistic asshole.
Oh, you're the main character, Dina.
Yeah.
Dina's
Yeah.
always the main character.
We're
This is just so
all
you.
You're the most advanced writer of all of us. That's what it is.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Does anyone?
We don't
does
need to.
anyone-
Yeah.
It's impossible to fully detach yourself from your work. So what in it is most represented by you, even if you never meant to have that character or thing be you? Oh, Zero. What a question.
I like that.
You guys
think
go first.
all my characters have an element of me at some point. I don't know if I could write a character well if I didn't use some tiny element of me and then build on it. I just don't. I'm not able to. I don't think I'm creative enough, I guess. So like every character, no matter how like villainous or all or whatever, will build on some part of myself. No matter like where I'll take like one trait of myself, like, and then I'll just kind of build on it. It ends up feeling more realistic to me, and I feel like I can get in that mindset and like get in their head and like write them in a way that feels real. Yeah, and I don't think I always do it on purpose. It just kind of ends up that way.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Oh, Kelly said she's proud. Love you, Kelly. Thank you.
That's so sweet.
I mean, Tom wrote an entire character in his book that's just me. So, I mean, no.
It's true.
I definitely have my current main character 100% me, but that's because it was based on the story from real life. I mean, yeah, all my characters really have some part of me. Can't write without that. That's art. Art is part of your soul, and if you're making art, you're putting your soul out there for the world.
Mhm.
Writing is art, so
That's
Yeah,
why it's so
absolutely.
terrifying.
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's scary.
bearing your soul to people.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Again, the same as you guys. It's a part of me is in every character. And it's just an exaggerated like caricature of a certain element of me. Like with my
Yeah.
most villainous characters, like I'm not going to go around and do what they do, but a dark corner of my mind is that kind of, it's a tiny flicker of that is then exaggerated and blown up and completely expanded on. But yeah, I don't know. I have. Do you know what you say? Character or thing, Zero. So I do have something, and in my books I have this ring, which is my dad's ring. So I kind of have my dad represented in my books in this very tiny little Easter egg that nobody else but
That's
me
so
is
cool.
going to get. So
Really cool.
it's the king's heirloom. So he has it at first, and it
Aw.
eventually gets passed down and all that. So I guess that's the
love that.
thing. Yeah. So it's been described a couple of times in the books. But yeah, that's there you go. There's
beautiful,
a little
Tom.
bit of insider information for you. When you see that ring, you're like, oh, I know that's trivia.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm crying.
And
I'm
now
sorry,
Zero's
Zero.
crying.
Sorry.
Yeah,
job,
I'm like, no.
I'm okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Mushrooms asks, how do you pick names for your characters?
If you're Daniel,
I-
you just
okay.
name them after your pets.
Oh my god, Danny, you fucking idiot.
Tina, you go first.
Oh, I was gonna say, I pick. Okay, so if I'm feeling really daring, I will pick the middle names of people that the characters are based off of, just so that they know it's about them.
A little nod to them.
and-
Cool.
Shit.
Nobody else knows. And then, other than that, I will pick names that I have on like a list that I would want to name my children, but that I know my husband will never go for. So, like, hey, here's my kid.
There you go. Your
Nice,
characters
yeah.
are like your kids.
I have a story called Nameless, so I just didn't. I
Perfect.
Hell of a loophole.
How to get around it.
Oh, I actually did end up. Yeah, you know. And then, well, actually, I have a whole system. So I go on Google Translate and I type in some sort of trait that I think of for that
I've done that.
character. Yeah,
Wow,
and I
cool
will
idea.
just try a bunch of different languages until one sounds cool, and then I'll change it around. I'll add letters, take away letters, or whatever until it sounds like something, or I completely pull it out of my ass. So one of the two.
That is a good magical ability, and that's how I name my characters. It's
You pull it out of your ass.
yeah, literally I
There's stuff in there.
Literally,
Yeah.
physically,
physically
right out of the
Yeah.
ass.
literally.
There's a
I-
lot of stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's big long pair of tweezers. No, there's I just
Oh my god!
dogs.
I sit and stare at the keyboard for about 30 seconds, and then I
Yeah.
sort of pick letters and then
Yeah.
sounds form, and then I look at the screen at what I've typed, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
change that letter, change the I for a Y, put that
Mhm.
there, done.
Yeah.
Name. Like
I try to go for like a culture, like a vibe. Like I'll be like, this sounds Middle Eastern, and then I'll just
yeah,
with that.
definitely. I've got like certain races in my book have certain sounding names. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just staring at a keyboard for 30 seconds and a name comes out. So it's it's oh, Harry asked a good question. I imagine this is probably for you, Dina, but has anyone ever read your work and realized a character was based on them?
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's so awkward because I made her the villain, and
Oh,
she
no.
literally
I love that.
told everybody and still talks about it to this day, you obsessive bitch, that I am trying to ruin her life because I did that.
It was totally a coincidence.
Yeah,
That makes me so happy.
Awkward.
all characters from this
So
book are
awkward.
purely
It's
fictional.
the worst.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a lie. And she's like, no, it's literally like my description. And I was like, no, no, it's not. She's like, you know that I wanted to name my kid that name, and I was like, but now you won't.
Oh my
That's
God,
cold.
I just tell people. Like one of my best mates is quite a nasty character in my book. So just tell him. I'm like, this is you, and he's like, oh man. I'm like, yep, done.
Oh man.
Easy. Done. Done.
Shoot.
Farrell, for me, I wouldn't say my world is unique, but the system is somewhat original. A world with 4 societies: supers, magics, techs, and monsters. Each society had a different way of gaining powers. Supers got powers through genetics, so it's like mutation. Magics got them through supernatural means. Techs got theirs through tech and science. Cyborgs and robots,
That's
and
cool.
monsters getting their powers from being normal. That sounds cool. That sounds like it's tough to pull all that together, but yeah, if you've got the 4
Yeah.
societies, that
Awesome.
sounds really cool. Yeah, nice work.
Sounds like it would be good world building opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. That must be super fun to build. On world building,
Really cool.
that is my favorite part of writing, is world building and like outlining the story very loosely.
I can see that in your writing too.
So much fun. So much fun.
I'm really scared of world building. I find it really scary.
Oh, I love it. I spend longer building the world than I do writing, because I'm like, I don't need to write yet. I just need to work out if the
Yeah.
sand is red on this beach or not. And it's just like
Yeah.
it's so ridiculous.
But then it's hard because then when you're writing, you want all the things you built to get into the story, but it doesn't fit in
Exactly.
the story.
It's just
So
impossible.
it's like an iceberg. So like the reader sees this
Mm.
much of the world, but you built like all this shit that no one's
Yeah.
seeing.
I've
Yeah.
also learnt to not plan so much, because when I read, I've still got the original plan for the Age of Reckoning trilogy, and by halfway through book 2, it's totally different. It is an entirely different
Mhm.
story, because the characters kind of took the reins as I was going, and I was getting
Always.
into their heads.
Those
And
bastards.
yeah, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
how would you react in this situation? And they're like, well, I would punch him in the face, and I'm like, okay, fine, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, it's all
Alright,
that
you
sort
do
of stuff.
you.
Yeah, that's fine, you go ahead. And but like
Yeah.
there's characters that are at the end of the book that aren't in the book at all, and then there's characters that never existed that are the most important characters, and I'm like, how
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
have you done this? What are you doing to me?
That's the best feeling though. That's how you know the story has a life of its own, that it's like starting to just
Hmm.
like happen on its own. It's such a good feeling. Although sometimes my characters do stuff that I don't want them to do, and I'm like, what the fuck? Stop. You guys are getting horny for each other and you're not supposed to. It's a lot.
You have
It's a
to-
lot.
Add in random explosions to put them off. Like, stop it.
I like, yeah, like a squirt bottle. Like, stop it, you guys.
Just put in like sudden event. You need to stop right now. Any way for us to see the plot? Not for many years, I'm afraid, Harry. Not until like, when the trilogy's out and settled and sort of there, then maybe I'll be like, here's some trivia. Here's what it was supposed to be, but isn't. But then I'd be worried that people would be like, oh, that sounds better. And I'd be like, oh, well, I'm sorry. The unofficial alternate end. Freedom of the press is a very difficult concept for new writers because it's hard to put your name on things that could directly contradict your moral compass. These things can be important for telling a good story, especially when going into difficult topics. Did you ever struggle with this concept, and how did you overcome those feelings, whether it be guilt or otherwise? Oh, damn, Zero, you are on it today.
Yeah, for sure. I did. I'll go. Nobody else was speaking up. I feel like I'm just taking over. I don't want to.
Go.
But
Continue.
I am fully expecting to get canceled one day. So like I'm super paranoid about that in my writing because I just don't always agree with mainstream. I don't always agree with the other side. Like I find myself fluctuating and in the middle of everything all the time. So I'm like very aware and I don't want to offend anybody, but at the same time, at some point there's so much happening in the world and it's so big and social media has just taken over and like it's so easy to get canceled for something that you didn't mean, out of context, whatever, that at some point you just gotta say fuck it.
You drive yourself crazy trying to keep up with what's
It's so
okay
exhausting.
and what's not.
I think it's your reaction to things that's more important as well. Like if you have
Yeah.
upset
True.
a community of people, I think it's more important to understand why, apologize for it, and make an effort to, learn from it and to not do that. I think that's the main thing. Because there's a lot of people that will upset a community of people. And I don't mean one or two people, because not everyone's going to agree with what you say, and people will be upset like individually. But if you upset a wider community, that's when something's wrong, and that's when you need to, address that, and you need to understand and learn rather than be on the defensive like so many people do, and that puts them in
Yeah.
in a worse position.
Yeah.
From just being like,
Yeah.
whoa, I didn't mean it like that. You've all taken it the wrong way, and like trying to victim blame and stuff like that. You need to be like, oh, I'm really sorry. Please,
Own it.
please,
Yeah.
yeah, teach
Diplomacy
me.
is an underrated skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Being
Agree with that
prepared
as well.
to learn is key, 100%.
I agree. And like, just listen. Like if you make a mistake or whatever. I
Yeah.
think sometimes I like intentionally contradict my moral compass to show the other side. Like I want to add depth to the conversation. So like I think it's probably quite clear the theme of what I believe.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean my characters believe what I believe. And I feel like that's a mistake sometimes readers make, is that they think that the character or the main characters is what the author thinks, and that's not
Yeah,
the case.
that's not true at all.
Yeah, and so I'll sometimes contradict my own moral compass to show that it's wrong, but also to try to be inclusive of other
Mhm.
worldviews, but in a way that it's like a healthy conversation. Like so often I find that if I don't agree with a worldview, it's very easy to just demonize them and be like, they're wrong, they're terrible people. And that's just not a healthy way to have a conversation. So I kind of try to make it more open, but I think in a way that's kind of obvious that what I believe.
Yeah.
But it is hard, and I do feel bad if I'm writing in a perspective that I don't agree with per se.
Yeah, it
Um,
is
yeah.
tough as well. I kind of, if I have nasty characters that have views that are like difficult views, for example, in my book, because I've got different races, there's a lot of racism between the races. So some of the humans will hate the Marusai, for example, just because they're Marusai. And because they're like totally different races, it's kind of on a different level, but also not really. It echoes what happens in real
Mhm.
life. But the characters that hold those views are always the ones that get punished. So I feel like in that way I'm showing, that I'm not
Yeah.
in agreement with this person at all. So therefore they're getting punished for that awful view.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. It's such a it's so difficult. And there's also like the telling stories as well. Like I wouldn't tell the story of a situation that I'm not. For example, I wouldn't
Yeah.
tell like a gay person's story because I'm not gay myself, but I could write a character who happens to be gay, but I wouldn't write a gay character, for example. You know, if that makes sense. So like I wouldn't tell a
I
story
wouldn't try
that
to
I'm
tell
not
their
part of.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I wouldn't include it, you know. So
Yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
inclusivity without telling the story. You need to let the people who are in those communities tell those stories.
You don't want to take their voice. Like it's just not
No.
your place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was a good question, Zero. Well done. I hate the
That's
term
really good.
getting cancelled. I prefer made to take responsibility for what you did. I think the getting cancelled term trivializes what's behind it, which is minorities' pain and injustice. I think that's very,
That's a
It's a very good point.
yeah.
That's
Very,
better,
very good
that's
point.
better phrasing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's you hear that the term getting cancelled gets thrown around so much as well now. And yeah, you're absolutely right, and it does trivialize what people go through, which is very valid and very real. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's not a method. It's not like a method for change either. If you just cancel someone, like I think there should be more of a culture of like accepting, like you said, like accepting you made a mistake and listening and learning and growing. And like people aren't just one thing. Yeah, like people are always changing and growing, and I feel like there needs to be more room for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we'll take one more question from Chibi. Girls, would you write a story from a man's POV?
Yeah, I would.
Yes. If this is the Chibi that I think it is, she's read one of my books, and it's a multi-point of view, and one of the views is a male perspective. But like I don't. Again, like we were just talking about, I'm like not stealing the voice. It's just a perspective. It's not like. Do you know the words that I'm looking for here? Like I'm not telling his story like as a man. This is like what happens to him politically or whatever. It's just his point of view. I hope I'm not overstepping.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, if we want story time with Dina, we got to wrap up the questions and move on to that.
I know. It's okay. We can run over. It's fine. I've only got lunch planned after this.
I only have
Dina
10
is on the
minutes
time
extra.
crunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So let's do it then. Do story time with Dina.
Go. Let's do it.
Do we want to let people pick, or should I just pick?
Yeah, let's do
Rain
it.
said she wants the Get Stabby story, which I don't know if I've heard. She said it's her
Stabby
favorite.
story.
Getting
Hey,
Stabby.
do you want to message me real quick and tell me what story that is?
Sounds terrifying already.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I know what story she's talking about. Fuck. I don't know if I should. Okay, I can tell that story. Surprise! I stabbed my husband.
No.
Oh god. Okay, so
That's it. That's the story.
That's the
yeah, that's it.
That's it. That was
We're
great.
good. I can go home now. I can go. Hi. So I have this thing. I am very sensitive to touch. So I don't know why. I really need people like they touch me wrong. I just don't like it, and it irritates the fuck out of me. So he like would tease me all the time and like flick me in the arm or whatever, and it just drove me fucking nuts. And I kept telling him like, stop it, knock it off, stop it, and like. At the time, we were living with my parents. They were in the process of moving out because we had purchased their home, so it was just like a crossover period or whatever. And my dad would hear me telling him all the time, "Stop fucking flicking me," and it just drove me nuts. I hated it. So I told him one day after he did it, he just flicked me in the arm. And keep in mind, like he's not a bad person. He wasn't hurting me. It's just me. Like, and I just want to preface that. Don't come for my husband. I will kill you. So, he flicked me, and I turned to him, dead serious, and I was like, if you do that again, I'm going to stab you. So the next day, he flicked me in the arm. And I happened to be going out back to practice some archery, and I had some arrows in my equipment. I took an arrow, and I literally went and stabbed him in the shoulder. And he was like,
Oh,
He had fair warning.
Go
I
ahead.
mean,
Yeah, you did
I
warn
would have.
him. Yeah.
you had arrows.
yeah,
It's
I
because
did.
you
she's like a
did.
championship. She's like a championship archer, dude.
Did
She's
Yeah.
did he bleed? Like, did you break skin?
Yeah, no, yeah. It was like in his shoulder. But here's the thing: my husband doesn't feel pain, and I need to have him tested to see if he has superpowers. And Rain can attest to this. She's seen loads of Snapchats, and like he doesn't feel pain. We used to work at a fast food chain together, and he would literally like when new people would come in, he would scare the fuck out of them because he would dip his hand in the fryer and not react. And he does not feel pain. So when I stabbed him, he just went, "What?"
Did he not feel
Like,
anything?
he wasn't in pain. No, he was just like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I fucking warned you." And then I had to take. Well, my dad helped me take the arrow out of his chest.
Do you need stitches?
No, it was just like a little wound.
Probably needed them, but didn't have them.
If you
It
can't
wasn't
feel
So-
like
pain,
the.
her husband is
It
still
wasn't
alive.
the fork.
For people in the
Yeah,
chat
yeah,
who are
he's
asking.
totally we're still married. Everything's fine. We love each other. Don't flick me.
he built different.
No, and
Yeah.
it was also the type of arrow that it was also the type of arrow for target practice, so it wasn't like a hunting
No
tip
barbs.
or anything like that. It wasn't like it was like starred out or anything like that. It was just the
just
one
a-
straight little like ice pick end.
Mm.
I feel like you are the perfect
Um,
pairing, though. I feel like this is like
Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is perfect.
Oh yeah, neither of us
Yeah.
would ever want to be with anybody else
Okay.
for sure.
Question. If he
Yeah.
can't feel pain, can he feel when he needs to pee? Because if you don't have like that's part of this. Does he piss himself a
That's
lot?
such a good question.
He's never.
Jess
pissed
is
himself.
asking the real
That's
question.
what I- But I do
You
need
need
to
to
ask-
know.
I need to
You
ask
would
him.
know.
Yeah, wait. If you feel like you have to pee, that doesn't hurt.
No,
It's
but
a
it's part of
different
like it's
type
in
of
it's
feeling, right?
nerves though. It's still
Yeah.
like your it's still like sensory receptors. Does he not
He
feel
feels
anything?
Yeah, what's the
nothing.
stupid the piss man?
Does he? Piss man.
He-
Piss man
I don't-
to save the
I'm
day.
sorry.
no.
What's
I
his
mean, I know he
superpower?
doesn't piss himself because I mean I do his laundry, but like a good nose sweep, and that was gross. Anyway,
Oh.
part of people.
No wonder you stab
Um,
him.
Yeah,
Alright.
for sure. Yeah, it's not supposed to hurt when you pee, so why? It's just
Unless you have a
pressure, like,
UTI, which happens.
He can feel touch, like
I guess so. I
Just
guess I was thinking if
pain.
you didn't have any sensation at all.
Yeah, he can't
like
feel
if I were to
anything
take a
at all.
knife.
It doesn't
I almost
hurt
reach
when
for a
I
knife,
pee, you
and I
guys.
realize this is a podcast. If I would
Yeah.
feel like a pressure, but like he feels pressure. He knew that the arrow was there.
Oh, okay.
Like it wasn't like
Right.
It was just what?
What the hell?
Like
Okay.
yeah.
This is where he just puts that on in front of people in like behind closed door. He's like, ah! just when he walks away from everyone, like I need to pee because it hurts. Ah! But-
I'm
Jess was
fine.
gonna
Don't be
do-
concerned.
Just does it hurt when you pee? You should go to the
It
doctor.
doesn't. Unless I have a UTI, but I don't. I'm good.
That's good. That's
If
good.
it hurts
Same.
when you pee, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
You don't feel pain,
That's
so it's
true.
okay if I stab him with an arrow.
Disclaimer
Good advice.
for when this goes on YouTube. This
If you
yeah.
learn
Yeah.
anything from this conversation today,
If it hurts when you pee, go to the doctor.
See a doctor.
Yeah.
By the way,
Okay.
we're not
We're not-
doctors.
we're not-
Important.
We're not
Unfortunately,
medical
yeah.
Clarification.
professionals.
Yeah, that's why we want you to go to a doctor
It
because
should be in Jackass.
we can't do it. Guys, we're gonna have to wrap up. I'm afraid it's gone so quickly. How has it gone this quickly?
It
This
It
is
did go very
incredible.
quickly.
Ah, I wish we could have.
I'm sorry, I can't stay longer.
That's okay. That's fine. So to give the outro, we have Dinosaurus, we have producer Sean, and we have Jess the Mess. I'm going to do exclamation mark guests in chat, so you can go and find everyone through their Twitters. Hey, we got sound effects from Sean. I love it.
I
1
have
hour
loads
10
of husband
minutes.
stories on Twitter.
Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you,
Perfect.
Tom, for having us. It
Thank you
was
for
really
coming.
fun.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. I also have the don't make. Oh no, I spelled it wrong. I can't spell.
Whoa.
There we go. We've got the don't make it weird emote as well that you can get just for a paltry 5,000 bits, which Sean dropped
out
in
the
one
show.
go. It was incredible. But yes,
You can find us on YouTube and wherever you find podcasts. It's hosted by Daniel, who's not here, and Dina, and Jess the Mess is a regular guest on the show, and we have a great time. If you're into writing or storytelling, you'll enjoy it.
Storytime with Dina, it's lit.
Thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to switch to the BRB screen to get everything set up for the next scene. Thank you so much everyone for coming on. It's been a blast. Love you
Bye,
all.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.